So at Felton Institute, we operate a program specifically for older adults. It's called the Senior Community Service Employment Program. We call it CSEP for short. And it is funded by the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor allocates at least $440 million for this specific program to assist under Title V to help older adults. And so it is there at a national level to help older adults get back into the workforce. So, under the umbrella of the Department of Labor, they then contract out all of these programs to specific nonprofits to be able to administer this program. So, in San Francisco, Marin, and some associated other counties. We do have two programs, one on a federal level and one at the state level. And so we'll tell you a little bit more about our program. Next slide, please. So first of all, we just want to thank SFPL, always a great partner with us to be able to present our program and to be able to do outreach and to tell everybody about our program because as I always say, there's no other program like our program. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If you can save all of your questions, if you might have any for the chat. At the end, we'll do a raise hand and we'll have people unmute so that they can ask questions towards the end, just to ensure that I'm able to go over all of the information about our program. And so we'll be able to definitely do a Q&A at the end. Okay. So already introduced Jeff Danderand, who will be assisting me today. Next slide, please. So what is CSEP? CSEP is a federal funded program, part of the Department of Labor. Under the auspices of the Department of Labor, there's specific contractors, right? So there's the National Council on Aging, there's the California Department of Aging, amongst other contractors. Felton Institute specifically, we are a nonprofit, primarily in the Bay Area, and so we are able to administer the CSEP program in all of these counties, so which encompasses San Francisco, Marin County, San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, San Benito County, and Santa Cruz County. And really, our mission and our objective is to really assist older adults, 55 years and older, in obtaining employment outside of our training program. And so the goals of CSEP are for us to be able to provide all of our trainees with a part-time, sort of like an internship opportunity in support of community service. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. We'll talk a little bit more about the hours. It's usually at 12 hours a week at minimum wage. It's variable and dependent on county. Now, again, I understand that 12 hours is not a lot, right? Right now, and I'll tell you the reason why we've gone up to about 29 hours right now, that it's what we can offer. But it's not this program, once you're enrolled in with us, it's not meant for you to sustain. It's not a job. It's a training or an internship position. And the job really is to get a job outside of our training program, right? And so we'll talk a little bit more about the hours in just a little bit. And so we continuously within our program are working with the trainees on an ongoing basis to try to address any type of barriers. What does it look like in the world of 2026 in terms of workforce? It's dramatically changed year after year, right? So what we're trying to do is really meet you at your level, try to figure out what some of those barriers or where the upskilling or the reskilling may be needed, and then work with you on soft skills, hard skills, technical skills, whatever that looks like to get you to that job that you want to get to while being in our program. Next slide, please. So we're able to provide part-time training opportunities, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about the hours. So at the end of our last fiscal year, which ended at June 30th, 2025, Funding was withheld. We actually just got the funding back from not long ago. We got it back December 1st of 2025. So we've sort of been in operations, back in operations for about several weeks now. And so we are trying to get back to where we were at prior to the loss of that time for funding. So right now, instead of the 12 hours per week, we're able to offer 29 hours a week, which is at an advantage to a lot of our trainees. And I will talk a little bit about the host sites. So one of the pros, I would say, in coming to our program, and already with a lot of folks that either have been laid off or whatnot, you already right now have a gap for employment, right? And so placing folks at host training sites gives you the opportunity to be at a sort of a temporary site, almost as if you were an intern, to be able to learn some skills. It's sort of a placeholder for you so that you can replenish and gain some of your portfolio back in terms of having a supervisor, become professional references, and things like that. So lots of networking happening at the host sites as well. But meanwhile, while you're at these host sites, you're constantly refreshing your resume. How do I customize my resume? We're working with you on all sorts of areas of workforce development to try to get you back to the job that you want to be at. So again, just addressing any and all barriers, right? They're constantly changing, and we're working together. So we have what we call participant assistants in the main office. And so they are higher level trainees that really help me under my direction to be able to train the trainees, assess, analyze, what's going to make the most impact in terms of getting you to success and to be able to find that job that you are trying to get to. And then what does retention look like after that? Next slide, please. So to be eligible, because we are a Title V older adults program, this is where the eligibility comes in. You do have to be 55 years and older for this specific program because we are under Title V. You have to be living in the specific counties that I mentioned earlier, okay? You have to be fully unemployed. So if you are coming in and you have a part-time job already, you have to figure out, do you want to still continue with that part-time job, or would you want to come in and look for, if your goal was to look for a full-time job, how does that look like? If you are at an on-call position, you would have to give that up to be able to come in and work with us and train with us. Okay. And low income. So what does that look like? That this one generates lots of questions. So I would always say connect with us, and we'll give you all the contact information afterwards. Just because low income is very, very different on a federal level than it is to all of us, right? And so what qualifies and doesn't qualify as income, we have a whole list of includable and excludable incomes that are in which it counts and doesn't count. So I would say if this program is of interest to you, contact us. We have an intake team that will go through our the income eligibility and so forth, and then we put it in this amazing Excel spreadsheet, and then it'll let us know whether you're qualified or not. And so one very important thing is to have a current driver's license, so unexpired, a current social security card or official documentation verifying that you are able to and eligible for work. And then documentation verifying your income status on what is includable income, right? And then verification of county residency. So that could be that driver's license, it could be an ID. Some folks who are staying, couch surfing at someone's house, might have a PO box and so forth. So we'll sort of work that out with you as long as you're residing in the county. We can figure that piece out. And definitely communication, because you heard me earlier, right? There's no other program like this. So that means a working cell phone and an email address, because we are right when you come into the program, we are assessing the barriers. We're training you, trying to get you back into the world of employment, right? The workplace. And so anything and everything, we're giving you guidance, trying to ready and prepare you for to be back out there. So we actually now have changed into responding to communications from CSEP. Now it's actually 3 to 6 times a day checking your emails, just because this is what's necessary right now. It's very competitive out there. So we're taking proactive ways to even guide our trainees to be able to be in such a competitive workforce world right now. So just motivation in learning Zoom, in which you are at right now, and other workforce activities, right? So if you are interested, emailing us at SCSEP@felton.org. You can definitely just email us your resume. If you have a cover letter, that helps us. If you do not have one, it's okay. We will help you as you're coming into the program, but just email us your most current contact information, and we will be able to then reach out to you um, and to um, and to contact you for eligibility criteria. You can also call us if you have other questions. Our phone number is right there. We are at extension 334. But please bear with us, because there's a lot of interest right now in the program. And so we will return your calls upon folks that are coming in the proper order. We'll prepare enrollment documents should you be interested and are wanting to proceed with enrollment. You'll schedule an appointment with our intake team to complete the enrollment paperwork. And then once I approve for you to come into the program, that is when I'll let you know about next steps and so forth. Next slide, please. So once you become a CSEP trainee, again, you heard me say earlier, right? There's no other program like this. So the difference is that the expectations are different, because the Department of Labor is paying you income to train. Level of expectations is very, very different. And so their level of expectations is for you to find a job as soon as possible, right? So, and again, wherever you're at. But once you do come in, you will be expected to go into a Jumpstart training program. It's called Jumpstart because we're trying to jumpstart you back into the world of employment. It's a 2-week intensive workforce development training program to assist you and to sort of start assessing you in terms of what your goals are. What do you want to do? Are you transferring to another industry? Are you having to do other types of work now? How do you transfer all of that? And it's just to start talking to you um, about different areas. And so you're in a cohort with other new trainees coming in. And so it's a really great intensive training program that we have. So once you're done with that, you're going to be assigned a participant assistant, PA, which is sort of a job coach, right? And then we'll also assign you a host training site as well. Right now, because we're able to give you more hours than the norm, we're having folks apply to a minimum of at least 5 to 6 jobs per week. The more, the better, right? But they have to be really good customized work job submissions, right? And so you would make an appointment to come into the office and so forth. If we call you and should you be interested, and then if you do have more information, again, just email us or call us and let us know the best times and days to contact you, and hopefully we'll be in touch there. Next slide, please. So Jeff is going to go through our CSEP flowchart, and just to give you a little bit of an idea about once a trainee comes in, what to sort of expect.
Hi, everybody. Just to let you know, I'm also a CSEP trainee participant. I've been with the program for a little bit over a year, and I found it incredibly helpful in figuring out my job search and discovering sort of what I want to do next, which is really the kind of overwhelming part of this. So the program's been great for this, and what I love about this chart is it really sort of simplifies everything, puts it into kind of categories where you're going to understand what the process is going to be moving forward. So Amy gave you a lot of detailed information. This just sort of points out how we're going to proceed in that. So step one is basically, your determine your eligibility. You'll be talking with our enrollment specialist. They'll be taking you through this process, and it's very easy, just following their instructions and sort of figuring out where you fit into the program. And then they'll kind of take you through a little bit more of just the intake, the program's missions, and review of the expectations for you. And then, as Amy just mentioned, Jumpstart. So this is all the big first step that you'll be doing in here. The second step, now you're in the program. Amy assigns you a PA, participant assistant, like myself or someone else. And we work really closely with you on a weekly basis to kind of set up your individual employment plan, which we call the IEP. We assess your job skills. We assess your digital skills. That's a very important part of this program that people are, concerned and want to learn more about. And then we talk about your financial housing benefits assessment and just kind of go through an orientation checklist one by one to see where you are. This is really where we really kind of get the idea of like what the next steps that each individual person needs to kind of either improve their PC skills, learn more about how to apply for jobs, which a lot of people haven't had experience with recently, or if you're in a different space, we find a different direction for you well. So it's really catered to each person who comes in. Um, Once you're all set for that, and Amy's seen that you have the ability to apply for a job, your resume looks good, you're presenting yourself correctly, then you get this chance to go to a host site agency. And as Amy said, this isn't so much of a job as is a training internship program. But if you had not been in something like that before, this gives you the chance to get back into the office, get back to working with people, and really get that flow again of what it's like to be responsible and to go in every single day. And that really helps you in showing future employers that, you're ready for a job. Step four, you're going to continue to apply for your jobs, but we're going to use a lot of different ways to find those jobs, job clubs, job fairs, really important. There's a lot of great ones in San Francisco that we keep you aware of. We continue to like kind of look at what your resume is. Are you finding success when you send it out? Are you really making the changes to your resume each time so that you're really meeting what the employer demands? And then, education, big part of it for a lot of people who come in here. If they need training, if they need other types of training, we have a number of different organizations that we partner with, PRC, St. Anthony's, that where you can get you that information, get you that help, so you feel confident wherever you are, working on a computer, using email, creating your resume and cover letters, and all the things that are important for you in your success going forward. And then step five, this is the big one. You get a job. So we're with you all steps of the way there. We're working with you on your interview skills. We're helping you follow up with positions that you applied for. And to find that unsubsidized employment is our success story. And there's a lot of people here who have had that. So this just really kind of gives you just everything you sort of want to look at and how you would go about doing that step by step. Next slide. And again, what's really important here, and Amy will probably talk to you about this herself a lot, is being motivated, having a positive attitude. We all know coming in here, it can be a little scary. You've been out of the workforce for a while, losing a job that you really loved. This is an important part of keeping the positive attitude and moving forward. You have to put your best efforts in this program and really have the desire to upskill in all workforce areas. That means learn what you don't know, discover how to use a PC, how do you email? How do you apply? These are all things that are very learnable that we can help you with here. We want you to be professional, accountable, and responsible. That's a big part of it. Any job that you're going to go to, those are going to be things that are any employer will be looking for. And I think this gives you an opportunity to train those skills more and more. You're going to be able to network here. You're going to be meeting other people that are also looking for a job, but also network, more job skill network opportunities will guide you through as well. So just follow up on communication, accept the guidance of your PA and of Amy's team. That's really important as well. We have experience doing this. Amy's been doing this for a long time and has worked with a lot of different people. She really does understand what the job market it requires of you when you're going to move forward. So that's just really important to say, hey, I don't know everything, but let me listen to my PA and the counselors here to be able to figure out what my next steps to move forward are. So I'm going to hand it back over to Amy after that.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so how do we keep moving forward? Just again, as Jeff said, also, upskilling, reskilling, side skilling, whatever you want to call it, right? So just continuing to come into this program. So when Jeff mentioned earlier that the mission really is for success is to get unsubsidized employment. Really, when you're coming into this program and you're enrolling, you're coming into a subsidized training position. That means the DOL is paying for you to be in this program, right? While you're enrolled in the program and training. So that's a subsidized training, training, training position. So what we want and what our mission is for you to be able to get a job outside of our program. And so the success when you just saw on that flow chart means that success means that we've gotten you to the point where you're a success. And if you're a success, the program's is a success, and then hopefully they continue to fund the program. And what's great about our program is that once you are a trainee and you've gotten to success, you've exited our program, somebody else comes in and takes your slot, and then we help that person, and we're really sort of paying it forward. And so, when you're coming in, what this is what I say all the time. I can't want you to have a job more than you want a job for yourself, right? So just being able to train, upskill, reskill, getting as many certifications and or educational workshops and things like that as much as possible, and to be able to utilize CSEP in a strategic way, right? So that means using it as a stepping stone program to be able to get that job as soon as possible with our assistance. And some people, they've come in 2 weeks later, they're out of our program already. But strategically, what you want to do is then, if something should not work out at that job, and we know this happens right now, especially in our landscape, budget cuts. You're the last person that was hired, and so we got to let people go. There's mergers and acquisitions, so now we got our staff coming in, and we got to let you go. Maybe it was not a good environment, and maybe you thought that job that you were going into, you're doing a completely different job. I mean, whatever the case may be, things happen, and we know that that first job that you get or that second or third job that you get might not be that job that you're going to be at for a bit, right? Or for however long you want to work. So strategically, you want the time left over to be able to continue with this program. And if you leave in good standing, even if we have a wait list, I will let you right back in. We start that journey all over again in searching for that job that hopefully will be that job that you'll be at for a bit. And so for me, really, the tugging at my heartstrings is when you tell me, Amy, I found that job. You're not going to see me for a while. And so that is the meaning of success to me. So how do we next slide, please. So just a couple of fun facts I want to share. So 94% of our trainees say, hey, you know what, once they come in through our program, the income that they're getting through the program, yes, it's not gonna it's at minimum wage at the specific counties. It's not a lot. I recognize that. But the intent of this program is not meant for you to stay in this program because, of course, it's a training opportunity. But this is what I say to everybody. If you're training and looking for a job, let us help you, right? We've been doing this for decades now. We've held this program. And so we know what we're doing, and so get paid, and at least that will alleviate some of your financial pieces, right? Versus you might be going into your checking account to be able to pay bills and things like that. So um we are paying for the training. So at least some of the income is essential. Felton itself, actually, this number is dramatically changed. It's probably about 35 or 40 staff members. So Felton Institute has over about 600 employees. And so about 30 of them, and they're all in HR, fiscal, the executive assistant to our COO is from CSEP. Trainees come with varying experiences. So whether you are, will help people in any capacity, right? So whether you're justice impacted, whether you are at a shelter, whether you haven't worked in 20 years. I had one person coming in that has not worked for over 2 decades. And so, but we found him a job. And so that's what's amazing about this program is that we're able to help you no matter what sort of, and everybody comes in with a different situation and background, right? And just a couple of fun quotes. Raymond J says, I don't know what I would have done without the Senior Community Services Employment Program. Helped me get over the fears with computers. The digital divide is real. And you've guided me to employment. I would not be employed today if it wasn't for CSEP. And Deborah F., she had a background as an EA executive assistant, and she just needed to revamp her resume. And after doing mock interviewing with us, she felt confident again. And after three panel interviews, she now has a job as a EA and is making 6 figures. Next slide, please. So that is our presentation. Again, here is our contact information. Take that down, or you can also screenshot but with your phone the contact information. Please call us if you're interested. Right now, because we had a pause, right now we are enrolling as much as we're able to, and so we want to help you if you feel like this program may meet some of your needs. Okay. All righty. I am going to, at this time, look at the chat and let me see if I can answer some questions. Okay, is the CSEP just for 55 plus? So CSEP itself is just 55 plus, but there is a back to work. Great. You've looked at our website already. So again, I'm always advocating, right, on our front in terms of, well, if you're 50, you need help too. If you're a youth, you need help too, right? In different capacities. And under the umbrella of the Department of Labor, they have, of course, different types of programs for different folks, right? This one specifically, CSEP, is for 55 plus, but I am always advocating for, hey, you know what? Can we skew a little bit on the age or the income or whatnot? But what we have done for Felton Institute is that we have spoken with the Department of Disability and Aging Services and said, hey, you know what? What if you're not quite 55 yet, and you still need help? This is how the back B2W back to work program came about, and it's for 60 plus or any age with a disability, and they take disability very much more lightly now. So, if you have, it doesn't have to be a disabled. If you can't see far or whatnot, that's a disability. So they take it a little bit more lightly now. So don't discount yourself just because you think, oh, I don't really have a true disability, right? So, but the only caveat is that because it's in a contract with DOS, they only give us a certain amount of funding, but it's been very successful. The only thing is that they can only take up to 4 trainees. And so that is the hard part about that. But feel free, though, to go into the website and if you are interested in that program because you don't qualify for this program, please ensure that you connect there and see if they have space. Okay. Are there any full-time opportunities available? So again, coming in it's not a job. So we are training you. And again, this is sort of a temporary internship. And I say that always just because people come in and they think we have jobs here. I don't have a bag of jobs um, to give to you or whatnot. All right. We will guide you to try different and creative ways. If you haven't had that impact in getting interviews and things like that, we can come up with creative ways for you to try to take a look, at different ways to get to that goal. But the jobs are out there still, right? And it's very competitive right now. So that's why we are here, is to maybe help you see different views and areas of how to get to that goal if you have not already been able to yourself. Is CSEP good for someone who speaks limited to no English? We are trying to get some translation services available, and it's the capacity within this program. So this program, again, I did say there's no other program like this, right? Even for me here, I'm the only staff. Other than that, everybody who helps me run the operations, such as Jeff, right? They're all participant assistant, higher level trainees that help me in the operations of the program. So I don't have the luxury of being able to hire a staff that's speak Spanish or different types of languages, right? We might refer you to some of our other workforce partners um, if they have the capacity to have staff that might be able to work with you a little bit better. But yeah, because Jeff is looking for a job. All my other PAs who's helping me, they're looking for jobs, right? So that is the only sort of caveat here in terms of working with somebody that is limited English. And because we work with our trainees at such a regular, we're always on email and phone calls with our trainees and trying to support them. So that might be a little bit of a barrier, but we are trying to get a translation service right now. I'm a disabled veteran. Can I participate at 63 years old? You know what? For me, I say if you're 104 and you want to work and you tell me that you want to get back to work, who am I to say that you can or cannot have a job, right? So it doesn't matter to me at what age you are at. Age is nothing but a number to me, really. And so it's really everyone's motivation and due diligence and determination to be able to get a job. If that is your goal, then we have a common goal and we're going to help try to get you there. Will past training from other programs interfere with qualifications? I guess that will depend on what type of training from other programs. And I would say if you do have a question um, about a specific program, and Sylvia, I might put you off. I might call on you afterwards if I want to try to get all the questions first. And then if you could tell me a little bit more, I would love to be able to answer that question. What is the income limit? What income counts? Oh, so it's a long list. So that's why I always say call us because it's a long it's a long list of includable and excludable, and sometimes there might be some things I can work out depending on what the criteria with DOL is. So again, please call us. It's too challenging to try to figure out. SSI is 75% of, it's very it can get a little bit complicated. So we would want to have that individual conversation with you. How will this impact unemployment? So that's a great question. If you have an unemployment, I would say exhaust that before you come back into the program because you're going to be making income coming in. They might stop it or they might do something else. Again, we are not work. So even afterwards, after you have this program, there's no unemployment, right? But if you do have unemployment because you're recently let go from a job or whatnot, collect that because I don't want being in this program to affect that. Many of these program coordinators, counselors work poorly with me, so I'm not sure if this is the best fit. There can be a great deal of stereotyping, contempt, and denials through I'm born and raised in the US. with English as a native language. So again, our program, there's no other program like this. I don't know if Jeff, you can speak a little bit to this, but we really try really not to judge anybody. Everybody comes with a different financial situation, socioeconomic situation, even where they're living out. They might be in a shelter. We helped one person at one point. They were living in a tent outside on the street, but we were giving them lots of resources to be able to work with them. We always think of creative ways to be able to work with somebody. And to me, I don't know about Jeff, but I know Jeff explains things right, left, upside down, sideways, whichever way to be able to try to get you to understand because we all learn differently, right? And so as long as we are coming to a common ground and actually moving to progress to that goal, I think that's the name of the game.
Yeah, I could just add that, like I said, I really think this program is fantastic. It brings in a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds, and I think there's a lot of people are working together, and you kind of form a group with your other trainees. And it is a real cross section of everyone, and everyone is all with the same goal of finding a job. And it's so helpful for you to talk to other people about that and who share that sort of interest as well, because it really helps that kind of pull back from that sort of sometimes like, "Ugh, this job is too difficult for me to do." So I think things like where your background is and other issues, I think they really kind of aren't represented here in that way. I think what happens is people all have a common purpose, and there's a lot of people helping each other here. So I just never had that as an experience here, and I'm sorry if you had before, but I don't think this program is like that at all.
Yeah, and I want to add also that, tons of folks come in. We've had folks who've come in who they don't even have an email address, right? But slowly but surely, we're going to try to get you up to that goal to get you to where you need to be at so that you are successful in the workplace, right? We've had people who, the digital divide is really real. So doesn't even have a professional email address. Then we've had some folks and limited digital experience. Then we've had somebody coming in intermediate levels or whatnot. And we've had people coming in with master's and PhD programs who just got laid off and they haven't had to find a job in 20 years, right? Because they've been at their job. So now the world of workforce has dramatically changed. And so now we have to help them sort of figure out what the world of workforce looks like in 2026. I'm under 55, so maybe I'm not the right. Yeah, definitely check out Back to Work again. They have a limited amount of funding just because it's not as big as the CSEP program, but definitely check in just to see. And then I will circle back around to, oh gosh, who was the person who said, well, past training. Okay, so Sylvia, if you want to let me know maybe what that past training was, because you asked if the past training will interfere with with program qualifications, that would be great.